Hi there, I'm Sophia.
And I'm KP. Welcome to the Nightly from Hatch, a slumber party for pop culture lovers. And tonight is the night of all nights. We have our own slumber party. We are joined by the brilliant and very, very cool Titi Shodiya. Welcome, Titi.
Hi, Sophia. Hi, KP.
Hello.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're so happy to have you.
Now, Hatch listeners may recognize your voice because you not only do you co-host the podcast Dope Labs, which explores science in our everyday lives, but you're also narrating Hatch's newest Meditations on Color. I actually did green last night on Meditations on Color, and I thought it was very awesome.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Yes. Can you tell everybody a little bit more about these meditations so that, aside from me just saying that they're awesome?
No, it was so amazing to have this opportunity, honestly. And so what Meditations on Color, it's guided meditations that I go through different colors and not just, the standard colors that we know like red, blue, green, yellow, and purple, but go into the different hues of different colors. So like with red, I talk about crimson, I talk about vermilion, I talk about scarlet, and talking about just the science behind colors and how we receive colors through our eyes and how those colors came to be, because there's also a lot of history behind a lot of colors.
Very cool. It's so comprehensive. And I did love it because I just was like feeling in a green mood. Sometimes you just wake up and that day is determined what color you're feeling. So I think it's great to have so many options.
I love that. I love that. I learned a lot while I was doing those recordings as well, because, doing some research on colors and light and how colors interact with our eyes, it really just illuminated a whole part of just living experience that I don't think about all the time. But now I feel like I'm hyper aware of different colors that are around me and how they make me feel. And when I'm using my Hatch, now I'm really in tune with, like, I've been changing colors on some of my wind down segments, and I love it. I love it.
Absolutely. Titi, what is your expertise? Like, you're not just a color expert. You have so many cool things. So what is your expertise here?
More than just a color theorist.
More than just that.
So I am a material scientist by training. So I got my PhD in mechanical engineering and material science. I specialized in nanomaterials, so things you can't really see with your eyes, but using really high-powered microscopes, you have the ability to see them. So my specialty is electronic and photonic materials, but all materials really interest me. And everything is made of materials. Like if you think about things that we put in our hair, things that we put on our skin, these are all things that are made of other things. So you want to have, if you're putting it on your skin, maybe you want it to be moisturizing. So you want agents that are highly moisturizing. So you might use niacinamides, or you want something that is exfoliating. So that's when you have like a AHA or a BHA, or like our glasses. You want to have something that feels comfortable, not too heavy, lightweight on your face. Everything is made of a material. And so what a material scientist is really focused chemical engineer. So looking at specific types of stuff, which is like a word that encompasses everything, how to make it stronger if needed, how to make it softer if needed, how to make it so that it can make materials more durable. And so that's the reason why I was so drawn to it, because I've always been very, very curious and wanted to know how everything was made. I took a lot of things apart in my house, which my parents were not happy about, but it led to a really amazing career.
That is so
thank you,
cool.
Mom and Dad.
You really can say like, and aren't you glad now? Because you're like, I have the PhD. And now you understand why I was tearing everything apart. I had to.
Exactly. It doesn't explain why I got in trouble so much in class with talking too much. I was talking to my friends a lot. So
come on.
My teacher would be like, hey,
you're in a safe space.
Okay,
This is why we're podcast hosts. Yeah.
This is Talkers. Talkers Unite.
It's very cool to take your background and then go doing these awesome meditations on color, which are very like how we feel and how we interact and how we as humans get to like see the science, which is fun.
Yeah,
absolutely. So hopefully folks learn a little bit and fall asleep while that's happening as well.
We are also curious to know like your relationship to meditation and what your relationship to that is.
Yeah, so I think I first started doing kind of like a meditative time before going to sleep when I was in undergrad, when I took a yoga class just as like part of my general education courses, because I was like, this should be easy. But it ended up changing a lot for me. And so it was really just like a pivotal time, like in how I regulate myself, like how I start my day, usually just trying to think about the day in a way that is productive and not like, oh my gosh, this is so overwhelming, but saying, like telling myself, you have everything that you need to be able to have a great day. You are dynamic, you are smart, you can work well under pressure, and just, you know, reiterating these things to myself. And then at the end of a day, just saying, you know, if like maybe if something didn't go as planned, say, there's always tomorrow, you know, just trying to put myself in a positive mindset, in mindsets of gratitude, and using that time to do that. And my Hatch device definitely helps. I have, you know, let me pull it up really quick. I want to say specifically which ones I listen to,
shout
because
them out.
I absolutely love it. So one of my unwind routines, it starts with cozy acoustics, then I go into drowsy piano, then I go into midnight jazz piano, then I go into classical cascade. It's like 2 hours of just
It's amazing.
mellow, like I usually have like dim light, and it just feels so good. And then when I really am trying to like be in deep meditation, I do moonlight jazz sounds, and then I do sunset sound baths, and that always really gets me to a place where it's like I feel calm, I feel so relaxed. I always end up falling asleep during the sound bath.
If I may recommend, in between the jazz and sound bath, you just add in the nightly, and it's just sort of us cutting up and laughing. And sort of
a quick pivot to some conversational comedy chit chat, and then back into an extremely deep meditation.
Absolutely.
Right in between the classical piano and the sound bath is going to be perfect to hear us going off about like Dune. Yeah, that'll be really good.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was not an ASMR girly because I was just like, I don't know that it's necessarily doing what I thought, but I did just listen to the new History of Salt. Which is incredible to me. It is just
I love that.
a person talking about the history of salt, and it's going to be in my next few nights. I'm excited about that.
Me personally, I love the history of salt. I'm not joking.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, I'm really interested.
It sounds incredibly interesting.
I do. It's so interesting.
It is interesting, but also he's really giving his all in keeping his voice sleepy. So it's interesting, but I'm still it's doing the trick.
It's interesting, but he's not acting interested necessarily.
Yes. Nonchalant. Yeah.
Well, I feel like speaking of history, this is the perfect time to introduce that we are going to be doing our segment that we normally do, which is Drowsy History, but we're putting a little spin on it. Today we're doing Drowsy Science. And basically, since we have a science expert in the Pillow Fort, we're going to have them explain a concept of science to us that they find fascinating. So, Titi, I think you came prepared to tell us about something.
Oh, me? I'm the scientist.
It's not me.
Yeah. Okay.
I can sort of give my sleepy version of salt, but that was pretty much it.
And I have my ears wide open.
Yes.
So what I want to talk to you guys about tonight is the science around how your body temperature affects how quickly you fall asleep.
Oh.
So your body temperature runs on a daily schedule that's linked with your circadian rhythm. So it peaks in the late afternoon, your body temperature, and then it drops to its lowest temperature around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And that drop is usually about 2 degrees Fahrenheit. And that doesn't sound like a lot, you know, but our body knows, and this is mandatory for sleep. Our body has to drop in temperature. And this drop is kicked off by your brain's internal clock. It's in this tiny part of your hypothalamus that's about the size of a grain of rice. And it sends your body the signal that says it is time to go to sleep. Then your sleep hormone, melatonin, and the temperature drop, they work together as a team to help get you to sleep. And what the melatonin, your sleep hormone, does is that it triggers blood vessels to open up, in your hands and feet, and that allows your body to essentially release a lot of heat, so cool down. So with all that in mind and understanding that, making yourself warm before going to bed really helps with this process. So there was a sleep analysis that was done from Sleep Medicine Reviews that found that a warm bath about an hour or two before you go to bed improved how fast people fell asleep by about 10 minutes and improved their overall sleep quality.
Wow.
So it works because the hot water floods blood to your skin surface, and then your body is able to dump that heat once you get into bed and cool off a lot quicker, and your core temperature drops. And so taking a warm bath just before you get to bed will help you get to sleep faster and improve your quality of sleep.
Wow. This is probably also like the warm tea, warm milk too. Love a little hot cup of milk, a little hot cup of tea. Get the insides warmed up. Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah. And they say that the sweet spot for you, the temperature in your bedroom, because I know that there are...
Let's get into it.
People are having like blanket wars. Okay. They say it's between 60 degrees and 67 degrees.
Perfect.
So pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's about right. That's about right for me.
Yeah. Because rooms that are too warm, they can really impact your deep sleep.
Yeah.
And so you won't be getting as deep of sleep. And what's going on in your brain during deep sleep is so important to your brain health, your body health, and just your overall recovery from the day.
See, I wonder too, like in the summer, I'm often quite sleepy at all times because I just feel like the sweat of it all, the sun. I mean, I think there's a variety of things going on, but I do feel like when it's hot out, I'm like, okay, I need a nap for sure. So I wonder if that's being like we need to cool ourselves down by a few degrees.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As your body rapidly cools down, it can definitely make you feel a little bit tired. Wow. Especially if you have all the other players in place, like a quiet, dark room and, really relaxed.
Wow. Okay. This is really fascinating and validating as somebody that likes both a hot bath and a cold room.
Yeah. This is also my problem with the weighted blanket situation, which I find myself in often because I like my weighted blanket, is that I wish it was cool, like it wasn't so hot. I want the pressure without the heat. Yeah. You know what I mean?
How do we get there?
I know. We need like a cooling one. That would be fantastic.
It's just like pure slab of metal.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm gonna do like a huge sheet of iron basically and just like see what happens.
Yes.
Right.
Be really good. Just chainmail, sort of. Just...
Yes, a chainmail blanket. That's gonna be perfect.
Put it in the fridge beforehand, and then you'll just sort of get that.
Pop that in the freezer, and then just relax.
That could be good.
I love that.
Okay, so the heat and the cold, it's kind of like if you're too hot or too cold, you just are sleepy, right? And you want to have like a perfect middle ground.
You do want to have a perfect middle ground. So if it's too cold, that can impact your sleep, where it might be harder for you to, like if you dip below that temperature, then your body's nervous system starts to kick in and say, hey, you're in danger. Right. And it'll start to do things in order to protect you that might keep you awake. So you want to have your body at a decent temperature that feels comfortable, not too hot, not too cold. Same thing if you're too hot. It's just not possible to have a good night's sleep when you're too warm.
This is also like, now I'm thinking of like Wim Hof, an ice bath in the morning to wake up or whatever, or an ice cold shower. I don't know which one it is, but there's something there.
Is that a scientist, Wim Hof?
No, I don't think he's a scientist. Let's look him up. Okay. I definitely don't want to say he's a scientist. He is a Dutch motivational speaker. And
okay, got it.
I would not say scientist.
No, I don't think anyone would.
But he's the guy who I think has kind of popularized in the current contemporary moment a cold plunge or like an ice cold shower.
Okay.
But I feel like that is usually a morning activity to wake yourself up. You would of course not want to do that before bed.
I know. I mean, that's just not my style, I have to say. And what showers were meant to just be burning my skin clean off.
I know. I cannot do a cold shower. I can do like a plunging my face into ice bath.
Yes, I've done that before to depuff.
Or like it also regulates your nervous system, which feels good. but a full shower cold is really hard for me. That's just a bridge too far.
It truly is.
I'm sorry to win off.
I have nothing. Well, I actually don't care about him. I'm like, I have nothing but respect for him. I'm like, I don't know who you are, and I'm scared of you.
Don't care.
I don't respect him at all.
I just don't know enough about him to say that I have respect for him. But many men do.
My life is about enjoyment.
Yeah.
So I don't plan on doing any cold plunges anytime soon. Like it's nice every once in a while when you're like, you know, just for fun, but I can't do that daily.
I can't, not a polar plunge. I've never done that.
No.
It's not me.
I think I have in a lake just as a camaraderie thing, but
As camaraderie.
Wow.
I know.
You're tough.
Just as far as camaraderie goes, I was willing to take one for that. Usually I really am, I'm like, surely you know, I'm just your friend. I don't have to do these things, right? But this one I was like, my friend like had a lake house that she was really excited about. And I was like, okay,
you need this.
Is good for you. We have now our preferences on colds and hots, which I think was
illuminating
and validating. We have some would you rathers, science edition. I want to get the be all end all perfect opinions from TT here. So,
okay.
TT, would you rather? This is loosely science based.
Yeah, I'm like,
would you rather have have a lightsaber from Star Wars or a TARDIS from Doctor Who?
Sorry, I have to say quickly, this is making me laugh because the way that the questions have been written, I know it's for me, for my sake. It says, would you rather have a lightsaber, parentheses Star Wars, or TARDIS, parentheses Doctor Who? Because I'm always like, I don't know about that. And I want to say shout out to my sister. I actually do know what the hell a TARDIS is. So yeah, which would you rather have?
Okay, shout out to her.
Okay.
I would definitely rather have a TARDIS because I know that lightsaber is, I'm going to eventually hurt myself.
Surely.
Because I have the equivalent of a lightsaber, which is a curling iron.
That's dangerous.
Very much.
Highly dangerous.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, I've definitely burned myself, so I know that lightsaber would definitely bite back.
Uh-huh. And what does the TARDIS do? It's a time machine?
Yeah, so that allows you to move through time and space. Very, very cool, which I think...
And it's a telephone booth, right?
Yeah, I would use that every time.
I would definitely do a TARDIS over a lightsaber. I similarly...
Yeah.
I mean, I would probably injure myself with it. The lightsaber would just have to remain off. The safety's going to be on the lightsaber all the time. It's going to be in the closet. It's none of my business. I would have so much more use for a TARDIS than a lightsaber. I don't need a weapon, to be honest. Like...
I'm not really trying to fight.
Me either. And I would probably try and use it for something like a grilled cheese.
Yes, literally.
Be like, could it do it faster? And then, start fires or whatever. So
yeah, you're like you're doing like Fruit Ninja, but with like veggies. You're like grilling veggies in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Fajitas instantly. Okay, we have another one. Would you rather have been at Mount Wilson at the discovery of the ever-expanding universe by Edwin Hubble, or attended Einstein's lectures on the theory of relativity?
Wow, that's a good one. And I would say Einstein because everyone thought he was nuts. Like everybody was just like,
yeah,
please. And like a lot of his theories weren't proven till long after he passed. And finding out that he was right, so many years later, it would be amazing to see him, talking through it and trying to convince people. Like, I feel like it would just be knowing what I know about those theories. It would be really fun to see him, have those moments where he's trying to explain it to folks. I think that'd be really cool.
That is so crazy. Like, so he just like knew. Do you know what I guess my question is? I'm like, he just knew that was true. Of course, based on his like research and theorizing or whatever, but other people couldn't understand.
Yeah. And, that's why like theoretical physicists are, tough people. They're very, very smart and really it's all theoretical. And so you can try and prove it through calculations or observations. And that's what happens, sometime down the road. But, everything starts with theory. Like, I think that this is what it is. Yeah. And then testing it out and trying to get to the answer. And yeah, that's what he was doing. And folks thought he was absolutely nuts. I mean, there was even like just before some of his theories were proven, people were still saying not possible.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's possible. And it's very, very cool. Very cool.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. I do also like a really wacky professor in general, just like being like, what's going on?
Love a wacky professor.
He had that hair.
Yes. He definitely is the blueprint for like show up as you are, like come as you are. Like I come to lab, you know, hair, nails, makeup, you know, the whole nine, because why not? Look at Einstein.
Look what he did, literally.
Yeah.
Is there something else that you like, a big scientific moment that you're like, that's the one that if I could have been there for it, I would be there for it?
Oh my gosh. The wheel.
Say that.
Yeah.
Could you imagine seeing the wheel?
Simple machines, I just feel like people were really thinking in the year 3000 when they came up, like levers, pulleys, the wheel. Simple machines, they don't get enough like praise, but they're amazing. And I'm just like, who thought of this? I wish I was there, because I would have lost my mind. Like, this is...
I mean, yeah.
Totally. I think that with cooking stuff a lot, too, where I'm just like, yeast to bread? How did we get there? That's wild. And bread's been around forever. And I'm like, wow, there's certain things that it's just like, you guys were really throwing some stuff at the wall for us. Thank you so much.
Right?
Yeah.
The thing about the wheel that would have been so crazy is that like
the thing about the wheel,
like, what the hell?
that no for real, because the wheel
but literally walk with me is that like it's meaningful in a larger sense of like they could you could build all this stuff or whatever, like on a really big scale, but it was also like everyone's daily lives probably changed. So it really is like this changed everything. Like you don't understand.
Yeah. Fire too.
Yeah, we're spreading word of the wheel. We're spreading word of the fire. Seeing some new people, and you're like, you guys got to get in on this wheel thing.
You guys would not believe what the wheel can do for you.
Change the game. Absolutely change the game.
That would be really, really great. Okay, we're winding down. The wheels are headed towards sleep. Titi, there are two things we want to ask of you. Firstly, is there anything our listeners should be checking out? We know Dope Labs, but feel free to talk more on that, or anything else you've been working on.
Yes, I co-host a podcast called Dope Labs, where we show how science intersects with pop culture. It's very fun. Definitely check that out. Meditations on Color in your hatch right now. Take a listen to that. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok and X at dr_TSHO. And I love talking to folks on social media. I post on TikTok and really love the community that I've created there of just curious people. Yeah, I think that's it.
Amazing. The second thing that we always have our guests do is we ask them to give a good night, so it can be a good night to anyone or anything, just something you've been thinking of. So, Titi, who would you like to say good night to this evening?
I would like to say good night to my husband, Jimmy, and my son, Tyson. They are awesome. They're the best. And I always wish them sweet dreams every night because they deserve it.
Amazing. Shout out to them, and shout out to you all for listening. We hope you're fast asleep. Thank you so much for being here, Titi. We will talk to you next time, and good night, Sophia. Good night, Titi.
Good night.
Good night, you guys.